functions 4. Characterization of constant functions. It is interesting to note that some special features of analytic functions are possessed only by constant functions. For example, constant functions are the only functions which are analytic in the extended plane. A non-constant analytic function does not possess this property of being analytic in the extended plane. Thus, a constant function is uniquely characterized by the analyticity in the extended plane. We here study several other such conditions under which an analytic function reduces to a constant. Theorem: let f be analytic in a region omega. If the derivative of f vanishes identically in omega, then f must reduce to a constant in omega. The same is true if its real part, imaginary part, modulus, or argument is constant. Note that in mathematics, whenever we say reduce to, we mean to change the expression or function or statement to its simple form. Now proof. Let f be analytic. Then we have already studied that its derivative can be written as curly u by curly x plus iota curly v by curly x. And also on using CR equation, we can write f dash as curly v by curly y minus iota curly u by curly y. If the derivative of f is 0, then from these two relations, we see that partial derivatives of u and v with respect to x and y are 0. It follows from a theorem from real analysis that u is constant when y is constant and u is constant when x is constant. That is, u is constant on lines parallel to coordinate axis. Likewise, v is constant on lines parallel to coordinate axis. Now, any 2 points in a region can be joined by a chain of line segments parallel to coordinate axis. So if this is point x naught y naught and value of u here is u x naught y naught. Since u is constant on line parallel to x axis, therefore u at x1 y naught is same as u at x naught y naught. Also, u is constant on line segment parallel to y axis. Therefore, u at x1 y1 is same as u at x1 y naught. And similarly, u at x2 y1 is equal to u at x1 y1. So what we have, u at x2 y1 is equal to u at x1 y1, and this equal u at x1 y naught, and this equal u at x naught y naught. So u is constant and similarly v is also constant, hence fz is constant in omega. Note that for this theorem to hold true, it is essential that omega must be a region, because by definition region is open connected set. In open connected set, we can join any 2 points by chain of line segments parallel to coordinate axis. Now at real part of f be constant. Now, since f is analytic, its derivative can be written as curly u by curly x plus iota curly v by curly x. This is equal curly u by curly x, and using CR equation only in this part. So this equal minus iota curly u by curly y. If u is constant, then partial derivatives of u with respect to x and y are 0. So from here, f dash is 0. So by part 1, f is then constant throughout omega. Now third part, if imaginary part is constant, then we write f dash derivative in this form: curly v by curly y plus iota curly v by curly x. Why? Because here when we use CR equation, curly u by curly x is curly v by curly y, and keeping this as it is. Now if v is constant, then partial derivatives curly v by curly x and curly v by curly y are 0. So from here, f dash is 0. So by part 1, f is then constant. Now, fourth part, let f be analytic and let its modulus is constant. If we take f equal u plus iota v, then its modulus is root u square plus v square, which is constant. So we also then have on squaring u square plus v square is equal to some constant c. Now on differentiating both sides of 1 with respect to x, we have 2u curly u by curly x plus 2v curly v by curly x is equal to 0. Similarly, on differentiating one both side with respect to y, we have 2u curly u by curly y plus 2v curly v by curly y is equal to 0. Now we, on dividing both side by 2, we can write equation 2 as u curly u by curly x plus v curly v by curly x is equal to 0. Also on using CR equation in equation 3, that is curly u by curly y is equal to minus curly v by curly x and curly v by curly y is equal to curly u by curly x. We can write equation 3 as this. Now we have this system of equations 4 and 5. And this, if this system has only trivial solution, that is curly u by curly x is 0 and curly v by curly x is 0. Then since f is analytic, its derivative is curly u by curly x plus iota curly v by curly equal to 0. So by part 1, f is constant. Also, this system of homogeneous equation has non-trivial solution if the determinant of the coefficient matrix u v minus u is 0, and this determinant is minus u square minus v square is equal to 0, which implies u square plus v square is equal to 0. But u and v are real, so it follows from this that u is 0, v is 0. So fz is 0, that is 0 function, so it is a constant function. Now fifth part, if argument of f is constant, if f is u plus iota v and if argument is constant, then we must have v is equal to some constant time u. For example, if we have argument constant, tan inverse v by u is equal to a, where a is constant. Then from this we can write v is equal to u tan a, and so u is equal to 1 over tan a v, and put 1 over tan a is equal to some constant k. So we can write u is equal to k v. Now we consider this function 1 plus iota k f, right? F u plus iota v. Now multiply these two, we have u minus kv plus iota ku plus v. But we have u is equal to kv. So real part of this function 1 plus iota k f is 0. That is constant. So this function must be constant. But this function is constant implies f is also constant. And hence f is constant. Now corollary, a function which is analytic in omega and assumes only real values reduces to a constant. The same is true if it assumes only imaginary values. Let fu plus iota v be analytic and suppose it takes only real values. So imaginary part v is 0. This means imaginary part is constant, and by theorem part 3, then f is constant. Likewise, if u is 0, then f is constant by part 2. It is also clear that an analytic function cannot map the whole region onto the line segments parallel to coordinate axis. Why? Because then u is equal to some constant k1 or v is equal to some constant k2. And in both the cases, the function reduces to a constant function by parts 2 and 3 of the above theorem. Also by part 4, an analytic function cannot map a region onto the arc of a circle. Why? Because in this case, the modulus of the function becomes constant and hence function itself. Also by part 4, an analytic function cannot map a region onto the segment of the line originating from origin. Why? Because in this case, argument becomes constant and hence function also becomes constant. We will discuss the open mapping theorem in some other video, and we will see there that the above results follow as a simple particular cases of this open mapping theorem. Also in this context, the most important theorem is the Liouville's theorem. It appears in lecture notes in 1847 and published in 1879. This says that a function which is analytic and bounded in the whole plane must reduce to a constant. In other words, it is stated as a bounded entire function is constant. An entire function is a function which is analytic in whole plane. So a bounded entire function is constant. This also means that a non-constant entire function is unbounded. Now the proof of this theorem follows from the Cauchy inequality that says that if fz is analytic in a region omega and a is any point in omega and c is a circle about a contained in omega of radius r, then modulus of the nth derivative at the point a is less than equal to mn factorial over r raised to the power n. The proof of the Cauchy inequality is based on complex integral, and we will study its proof in some other video. Now we take it as without proof and state this Cauchy inequality in this form. Now for n is equal to 1, f dash a mod is less than equal to m by r. Now fz is analytic in whole plane. So we can choose r arbitrary large, and if we take here r approaches infinity, what we have mod f dash a is equal to 0 and then f dash a is equal to 0. But fz is analytic in whole plane, therefore this is true for any arbitrary point a in the complex plane, and hence we conclude that fz must be constant throughout the plane. In the next video, we will discuss some more characterization of constant functions based on Liouville's theorem.